Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would like to actually share the current discussion and some potential of carbon pricing in Japan. So I guess understand I have 7 or 8 minutes. So first, let me share with you the current carbon pricing at the national level. Well, we have lots of implicit carbon pricing, lots of regulations, but as explicit carbon pricing, we have tax for climate change mitigation, which is 289 yen per ton of CO2. This started in 2012, and the tax revenue has been used for promotion for energy efficiency and the renewables. So this is our explicit carbon pricing we have at the national level. So it's less than $3 per ton. But actually, before implementing this tax, we already had the tax on fossil fuel, petroleum and coal tax, but the level differs across fossil fuel, crude oil, LPG, coal. So one potential carbon pricing we could implement in Japan now is, I think we can add a tax on coal and use that tax revenue to promote, more advanced technologies for looking for carbon neutrality. Well, as you know that Prime Minister Suga announced that Japan will aim for carbon neutrality by 2050. So we need more technology and more innovation so we can use this kind of tax revenue to promote new technologies. But at the regional level, we do have actually some emission trading schemes. So this is a map of Japan and Tokyo. We are now in Tokyo and our neighboring province, Saitama. These two provinces are implementing ETS in Japan. And so I would like to share with the current features of these subnational emission trading schemes. So this emission trading scheme started in 2010, and just like in the European EU ETS, we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and the emission target initially was 8% for commercial sector and 6% for manufacturing sector. But now it's more than 20% emission reduction in the phase 3. And one uniqueness of Tokyo ETS was the target was the commercial sectors, because we don't have lots of manufacturing facilities inside Tokyo. But in Saitama ETS, we do have many manufacturing facilities. So it's like a European EU ETS. We do have these ETS. And both actually ETSs have been successfully reduced emissions in their regions. So in Tokyo, 25% compared to the base level by 2040, and Saitama 22% by 2014. And I have published, I have edited the book and published a book as an open access titled Carbon Pricing in Japan. So those who are interested in these regional markets, you can look at this as it's a open access book, so you can download it free. And after the announcement of carbon neutrality by Prime Minister Suga, he also mentioned that carbon pricing is an important policy tool that we should discuss in achieving the carbon neutrality. So currently, carbon pricing, which could be ETS or carbon tax at the national level, are being discussed at the METI and Ministry of the Environment. And I'm part of the discussion, and we will see what will happen. But the theme of the session is the green growth. So I would like to share with you one potential method approach to green growth, which is double dividend of carbon tax. And the paper, this is the result that I recently published with Professor Takeda. So Apparently, the first objective of the carbon pricing is promoting renewable energy savings, innovation, and reducing carbon emission. This is the first dividend. But we know that in economics, the tax often are distorting the market, like a corporate tax, distorting the investment of the corporation. So if we use the carbon tax revenue to reduce carbon corporate tax, then that could promote investment and that may lead to the increase in the GDP. And this can be the second dividend of carbon tax. And in our paper, we simulated this potential of double dividend of carbon tax in Japan. And we simulated a dynamic season model and to achieve 80% reduction in 2050. And here is the summary of our analysis. So this is the result on the GDP, and this is the result on the income. And we found that the lump sum tax reduction is not really helping the GDP. But if we use the tax revenue to promote, to reduce corporate tax, that may lead to the GDP increase or income increase. Or if we use the tax revenue to reduce consumption tax, that may also help the income or GDP to grow. So this is one potential way to achieve green growth. Finally, I would like to share with you some simulation of economic analysis for carbon border adjustment mechanism for Japan. Well, carbon pricing always have incurs concerns from the industry because it will lead to the carbon leakage and the competitiveness issue. So that was true when we had a discussion on emission trading scheme in 10 years ago. So I did the simulation economic analysis of CBAM with all the data in 2010. But when it comes to the CBAM, actually there are lots of design issues. Should we target domestic import only, or should we include exemption of export? Or when we impose CBAM, should we look at the carbon contents of the domestic level, or should we impose a tax at the foreign level? And which sector should we apply the CBAM? And practically, should it be a tax or ETS? But in our paper published in 2013, we simulated different CBAMs for Japanese economy using a computable general equilibrium model. And here is results of different scenario of CBAMs for different sectors. Actually, in this table, I am focusing on energy intensive sectors. So if there is no CBAM, like for certain target, iron and steel sector, the output may reduce by 10%. And when we impose the tariff with the foreign intensity, it doesn't help. CBAM can help steel sector only when we include export exemptions. So import tariff is not actually effective to reduce carbon leakage or competitiveness issues. And in fact, actually, we also compared the free allowance allocation with update method. And that has been the most effective way to help energy intensive sectors. So actually, CBAM may not be the best way to deal with the competitiveness issue. That was the conclusion from our old analysis. And this is my references, and thank you. That concludes my presentations.